Hi there, I'd like to share some brief words of Torah with you about this week's Parshat vaYakhel. You know, in today's culture, yes men are looked down upon. Why? Because we want to think outside the box. We want to be independent. In this week's Parsha, though, we see people who are not yes men at all. And that's the idea I want to share with you. Parshat vaYakhel, if you consider it, is largely redundant. Why? Because 3 weeks ago, in Parshat Terumah, we read about the design of the temple, the design of the Mishkan. And in this week's Parsha, we read about the construction of the Mishkan. Why did it have to do that? Why could it not just say, this is how God commanded us in the design, and so we constructed it? Why repeat the entire Parsha? This question is a strong one, because there are no extra verses, words, or even letters in the Torah. An entire Parsha that's extra. It's a strong question. Why repeat Parshat vaYakhel? We pretty much had it already in Parshat Terumah. The Stewart answers this question, and he explains that the reason why the Parsha is doubled is because it wants to stress the fact that the people constructing, the artisans who were involved in the manufacture of the temple, did it exactly the way God wanted it. What's the big deal? I mean, God says do it this way, so do it however you want, no? The answer is no. An artist, by definition, is somebody who brings to the table, or to the canvas, or to the rock which he is sculpting, he's bringing a certain sense of self that he wants to imbue his artwork with that sense of self. I'll give you an example. As you may know, I'm a singer. I'm a cantor. And in everything that I sing, everything that I perform, there is a sense of self that nobody else can replicate. When building the Mishkan, I may want to build the Mishkan in that way. Build it in a very unique sense. What do? I put that aside. I put my personal whims, personal desires, personal values, personal sense of self. I put that all aside, and what do? I focus specifically on the way that God intends it. Let's think about this on a more global scale. We lead lives. Lives that, on the one hand, I want to live life how I want to live life. But on the other hand, I know that society demands certain things of me. My religion may demand certain things of me. God demands certain things of me. Well, what about my own personal self? How do I express that? That's a great question, and it's one that's worthy of consideration. However, the people that are admired the most in religious circles are the people who put aside their own personal desires, whims, their interest in subjugating, twisting their values so that it best fits the moment, and living on a higher ideal. Living their lives to a higher ideal in the sense that my starting point is not me, my starting point is God. And what God wills of me, I would like to do as well. And that is indeed a challenge. It's the challenge of life. The challenge of life is doing and following the example of the people who constructed the Mishkan. And that is focusing our will towards God. Focusing our will on doing what God wants us to do. With that, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And I want to wish you much luck and much hatzlacha in doing things in the best possible way. And being yes men in a religious sense.